All right.
There we go.
All right, you're on. So good morning, everyone. Both here live at the Magic office right off of Main Street in Westminster and on Facebook. Welcome to 1MC. Happy to see you all again. Coffee is provided here by Jeannie Bird's Coffee and Baked Goodies. And if you would like some baked goodies for yourself as we run through this, you can go to furnacehillscoffee.com and use the discount code 1MC Westminster for 25% off your order. I know we had a great time last Wednesday hearing all the updates and from our presenter. And I know we're really eager to hear from A&M Meats. But before A&M Smoked Meats, I'm sorry. But before we jump into that, I'm just going to go over our program and what we're all about here at 1MC Westminster. So the mission of 1MC Westminster is to lower the barrier for access to education, resources, and connections for entrepreneurs. Without our great community and the pillars of our program, this mission cannot be accomplished. So we're looking for presentations, not pitches, and we're looking to make connections, not networking. We really want to get to know your business and the challenges that you face so that we can connect you to all the resources we have in our community. We are for the community, by the community. Nobody has ownership of 1MC Westminster. Nobody is paid to do 1MC Westminster. We are radically and intentionally inclusive. And if you want to present and connect with our community, please go to 1MC or 1 Million Cups and submit application to present, and we'll get you going. So we meet every week, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. We have 2 presenters whenever possible. Presenters organization should be less than 5 years old and willing to ask for help, because we end every session with what can we as a community do to help you. Here's our organizing team: Graham Dodge, Russ Hammett, Vicki Slinkman, John Wheatman, Tina Thomas, myself, Julia Knapp, and Gabby Rose.
All right. So with that, we will hand it off to Aquilita Brown, from the founder, CEO, and pitmaster of A&M Smoked Meats. Aquilita, the stage is yours, and there are also people watching on Facebook you can ask questions on Facebook in the comments, and we will read them out loud live here. So if you're watching on Facebook, please know that you can still interact with Aquilita. Aquilita, go ahead. If you have a presentation to share, go right ahead, or if you just want to talk, feel free to just take over at this point.
Okay, I wanted to first say thank you and good morning to everyone. Graham tries to flatter me saying pitmaster. That's a name I haven't heard since I've actually been out on catering and food trucking. So I don't deny it, but it escapes me at times. But I am Aquilita Brown. I'm originally from Louisiana. I'm a prior veteran here in the area. I did about 8 years in the Navy, and from there relocated back here in 2001. And in 2009, I started a food truck operation that was called Smoking on the Bayou. We never came out in Carroll County, but we did do some service work or catering events and private events in Frederick, Maryland, at the brewery that's up there. And so where we are now and what I do now is we do smoked meats. I do them in the original craftsman's way. And what I mean by that is we don't use any thing to bring any extra flavors to meat. We also don't do any chemical bases or powder enhancements. We do smoking, what a lot of people call stick smoking, but we use wood only. We pride ourselves on pecan wood because it's indigenous to where I'm from in Louisiana. And when we started doing smoked meats here, the challenge was that there are over 90 different species of pecans. So I wanted a certain pecan style. So that was a big challenge to get that particular pecan flavor that we have in the South. the meat that I specialize in is beef, and then we do turkey, and then we do lamb. The beef product is brisket. We haven't even touched our foot into the pork arena. It's not something that I'm really ready to think about bringing to market for various reasons. But what we specialize in is convenient packaging of packaging for consumers, where it's individual portion packages. And then we also do bulk packaging as well. We were in Washington, D.C. for about from 09 to 14. And then from 14 to 17, I ended up working with some large purveyors doing research and development. And then that's when we let go of the food truck and started getting into mass production. Carroll County was very interesting to me because right now I live in Howard County, and Carroll County is more of agriculture friendly. It has the range for cattle. We want to be responsible for our own breeds and making sure that from farm to table is actually what we do, to have our own cattle and to process them and then to further process them for consumers. That's pretty much the nuts and bolts of us right now, who we are. My expansion out into Carroll County is in Westminster. I've met a couple of the zoning operators and the team there. The thing that slowed us down was COVID, but as far as going through the complete expansion for building out a facility, and of course locating one, bringing a meat facility to fruition. It's not where you're going to find a plant readily available, particularly in this region. Whereas I probably was in Kansas or somewhere else, they're a dime a bucket. But out here, you take the bare bones of something and then you see whether it works and fits your business model, and then you bring it up to what you needed to do. So that's where we are right now.
And so right now you're also looking at fundraising to expand, is that correct?
Yes, that's an option. That is an option.
And then you've been, can you speak to the background that you explained to me earlier about being sort of incubated by Cargill?
Yes, Cargill is a beef producer. In 2014, when the idea came to me to, divine inspiration came to me to do larger production, I shipped some meat up to Cargill. And I did that because the beef brisket that I use is Excel. I think it's for me, it's one of the better qualities and cuts for a brisket for smoking. There are different brands, but that one for me adhered to the smoking for me better. And the holding time for the beef was less for the seasons to permeate the meat versus some other companies where you have an excess of fat that it's just, by the time you trim the fat off, you don't have any brisket left. So with that being said, there was a guy always coming to our food truck and I didn't pay him any attention. You know, you just speak to your customers and you go on. And I ended up shipping some brisket up to Cargill. And the reason I shipped it up to them was because I was looking for a source to buy bulk brisket. In the immediate area when I was trying to get 363 pounds or 600 pounds, like no one could meet that. So one night I just looked online and said, who supplies beef? And Cargill came in my Google. And I reached out to a gentleman. And so he gave me a local procurement guy who buys for this region. And so when I shipped my brisket there, it turned out to be that was the gentleman who was visiting my truck. So he then came down. We met in 2015. And he talked to me about what we were going to do and things of that sort. And so he's been in my ear throughout since 15. And October 1st of 2020, I drove up there and had a meeting. And from there, what we're thinking about doing is we would supply them with their smoked meats, but it would be particular cuts of meat. It would be turkey and things like that. So that's the unique partnership that I would have with them as far as smoking their meats in this region, and then going from there. The overall goal is to be the source for smoked meats in this region. And then going from this region and then going to the next region, so forth. This region would be for us, Maine all the way to Georgia, for us providing smoked meats. But that's the part where Cargill will play as far as in the reach for us. But it wouldn't be our brand name in the immediate with them. It would just be us smoking their meats for them.
That's the same. That happens to coincide with the Appalachian Trail, I believe, Georgia to Maine. Why not Florida?
That puts you in another region. So it's just you test the product in a region, and then as your sales go for however long they look at it, whether it's 6 months, year, or whatever their category review time is, then you go to the next region or the next store or where they feel the product goes. The other thing is that there are meat cases that Cargill controls in certain grocery markets. So our product would be on those stores, wherever their stores are. It's just a matter of us meeting their production quota, which is what they would seek from us, is about 20,000 pounds every 2 weeks.
Wow. And can you share your vision for your ideal facility here in Carroll County? I know that's still what you want to do. It's proposed. It's not necessarily definite yet, but I know you have a vision for that. I think the group would like to hear that vision that you have for that facility.
The vision would be where we would just be a further meat processor there. The facility just fell through again, the deal that was on the table for them. The owners are very, very good people. From my presentation with them, they are adamant about us getting a property. But at the same time, they take these deals and I say, that deal's not going to go through. They say, yeah. And then so they'll say, I believe the deal didn't go through. I said, mm-hmm. So, these last buyers, they knew that we were getting things together to purchase the property. So the last buyers, they put an exclusive in the contract that said, well, she can't come on the property for 30 days. Right when we were about to go out and have our contractor engineer to take a sound testing. And I said, 30 days? I said, it's not going to be 30 days. And my realtor, he's like, oh, no, we got to wait 30 days. I said, we're not going to have to wait 30 days. And this is like a couple of weeks ago. And so we get a phone call this Monday and they said, my realtor calls me. He says, Apolita, he said, that deal didn't go through. I said, uh-huh. I said, Coach, when can we go on the property now again? And so that's where we are. We had one company come up and say, well, they were going to buy us out completely. And they didn't do their homework and found out from zoning that their business model didn't even fit the property. So that happened. The second deal was back in December. A lady came in and she wanted to buy the property. And she said, well, I'll lease it to you. And I said, why would you lease me this property when our goal is to buy it, but you can't lease it to me to own it? And then when we sat down, I only said 2 words and she got blue in the face. She said, well, what are you going to do with the property? I said, it's going to be meat processing. Because she knew nothing about meat processing or how to even get back and forth to be with me to see this come in place. She walked away from the table. So it's been interesting in the past year to do this. But this particular property, it was originally a cattle farm in 1908. The owners who have it now bought it from a lady and a family who were cattle producers. So they have a covenant in their contract where whoever these owners are, they have to sell it to someone who is either going into that type of agricultural work, or I would have to make a request for our business to be there at that property. And then the original owners, prior to the owners now, would make a decision on who takes that land. Did I lose you guys? If you can hear me, I can't hear you.
We might be having some technical difficulties. Can you hear me now?
I can.
All right, let me see if I can get the Mevo. I'll have to use the microphone on my laptop in the meantime. I apologize. So, but tell us the actual vision for the facility. Like you described to me like an idea for 2 buildings, and there would be certain functions in each building. Yeah.
There are 2 buildings on the site. One building would be just for us to smoke meats. It just would be a dedicated smokehouse. And then the other facility, which is like the barn area, it would be where we would do box beef, working with the local farmers. There are a lot of farmers from PA all the way over to West Virginia. They don't have a place to hang their product for hanging time. So this facility would afford us to do that for them and work with them in that capacity. The other piece is to create a local online or home delivery for fresh beef cuts. And there'll be other meat. We'll do turkey and we'll do lamb, but where a consumer could look at a cut sheet and determine how they want their beef to be cut, when they want it to be shipped to them, and how they want it to be packaged. There also would be a market where consumers can come in and actually buy their meat from a market from us, which would actually be the meat either produced from the cattle in this area or in the region that we will be able to get cattle from. The other component would be also, we would do catering from that location, not catering as far as us going out to cater events, but if a consumer needs so much meat for a product, we would be able to provide that. And then also working with the school systems in the area, providing school lunches and also smoke for them or any institutions that would need smoked meat product. I'm not against vegetables or starches, but I am a meat woman. So when my creator, the Almighty, dropped this in my lap in 2014, it took me a moment to process it because I was like, well, okay, and not even really knowing what to do with it. And it's just been a great journey. It's been a learning, evolving journey as well. But when my family found out that my paternal family found out I was going to be going into the meat industry, they further elaborated to me that we are beef people, so it's sort of all have worked out together. My late father passed in 91, and I didn't know that he was a passionate meat smoker. So when my family learned about that and what I was doing, when my father passed in December of 91, he was actually working with Kroger's in San Antonio, trying to get his smoked hams and brisket in those stores, just locally. And so when I learned about that further inspired me to say, okay, let's see how far I can push this. But the property, it wouldn't be any slaughter kills on this location. We plan on partnering with a slaughterhouse down here closer to Columbia that would process for us our cattle that we would bring in. And the cattle that we would be using, I will let everybody know we don't plan on using Angus. So when you get into beef texture, Angus is what it is. But if I can get Herefords here from Texas, I would do that, or Longhorns. But we plan on not having those large breeds when we do get another extension of A&M, where we actually bring cattle in to the slaughter facility, and then they will process them out for us. And then we will further process them or take them from primals and subprimals and box them up for individuals.
I just want to remind those watching on Facebook Live, they can ask questions for Aquilita in the comments, and we'll read them out loud here live. And maybe while people are thinking of questions, you can school us a little bit on the difference between barbecue and smoking.
That has been the most what's the word? Interesting conversations that I have with individuals. As we all know, and especially in the United States, certain individuals can drop words, and then those words become trend settings. And when you come from Texas, and when you come from Kansas City, when you come from Louisiana, any of those what we call barbecue hubs, there's a distinct difference between barbecue and smoked meats. My grandfather, he built a smokehouse on his property in Louisiana. He owned his own land. And he wasn't into beef. He was my maternal grandfather. And he did pigs, American Landrace and Berkshire is what he had. And so they would hang the hams in the smokehouse, my grandfather. And it was always smoked meat, I heard. I never heard barbecue. The only time we ate barbecue was during the 4th of July or Memorial Weekend. And there would be sauces on the meat. Smoked meats, one of the things that one time I was doing an event and they was like, a lot of the clients that we had or consumers from Carroll to Howard to Montgomery to Virginia, and even as far as West Virginia, they knew what I was saying when I said smoked meats. They didn't even want to hear the word barbecue. They didn't even want to come to the truck and see sauce on the truck. We didn't even have sauce. We made our own sauce in-house, but they respected it. Certain consumers respect meat being smoked right, and they just want the smoked meat, sliced onions, and a spoon of horseradish. That's all you need for smoked meats. And so A&M's vision is to educate consumers that smoked meats are versatile. You don't have to put sauce on them to call it. I mean, you don't have to enhance the meat by putting sugary barbecue sauce on it. I'm not against barbecue, but when you go in the grocery store and you buy bacon or ham hocks or neck bones, it doesn't say barbecue bacon. So it's smoked meats. So smoked meats or barbecue, when you put the sauce on them, then it becomes barbecue. But when you're smoking it and you smoke it and it's even very technical. There's a gentleman, I haven't met him personally, but I admire the way he makes his stance. Myron Mixon, he smokes meat, but it doesn't become barbecue until you put the sauce on it. And so because in the United States and in this country, because we equate ribs and chicken and brisket, of course, to barbecue, when you tell someone you're smoking a brisket, oh, you're having barbecue, I'm smoking a brisket. And the temperature makes it different. If you want to get technical with it, the temperature range makes it different. And of course, the saucing makes it different. Cold smoking is what you do with meats like ham and bacon. And then after you get the temperature over 185, then you want to call it barbecue. You can actually, I mean, it's so technical. You can take a brisket, which is what I've done. You can put it in a rotisserie oven or a rotisserie pit and rotate that brisket. And then it comes from smoked meats to charbroiling, but it's still smoked meats because it's smoking it. But so it's just the way you take a protein to bring it to farm to table or to bring it to its finished product. It's just easier sometimes for people to say, oh, that's what you're doing. No, I'm smoking meats. Oh, I'm roasting meats or something like that. And so when you study the history of smoked meats, I don't think Christopher Columbus said barbecue. I think they said smoked quail or whatever they ate.
All right, anybody have questions for Aquilita?
Oh, I do.
Yes, Tina from Infant Love Project. Go ahead, Tina.
Hi, Tina.
Hi, curious in regards to your entrance into Carroll County. I know that it's a traditional farm community here. And in looking at the meats that you're going to be importing, are you going to offer processing to the locals here? We have a huge 4-H and FFA community and a couple of families who do farm to table meats out off their farm. So are you looking to plug into the community industry that we already have here, or is this just a really good location with lots of land for you?
Both. When I don't know if maybe you didn't, when I first started, that was the whole idea. And I mentioned it to Graham. I've had several investors or people who want to get with A&M, but they don't have that Southern, and I hate to sound biased, but they don't have the flow of wanting to be country people. I don't say that to just throw it out there, but I'm not a suit and tie person. I met one farmer and he wanted to partner with us and sell his meat to us. But when I met with him, he's in a suit. I was like, yeah, farmer. And in my head, where are your overalls and everything? So he just basically bought a farm, but he had people working it. But still, I looked at that. Whereas you're not going to see me in a suit too much unless I have to do a presentation. You might come out and see me in overalls or some type of hat or something. I actually drive a pickup truck. So it's important to me to be with people who respect land, like country living, like, you know, being with, understand what we're doing. As far as working with the locals, that's been the idea with us, to work with the local farmers. I actually work with the Maryland Agriculture in Howard County, the lady there, where I met her when I first came into Maryland to source and work with farmers. I've met farmers who have cattle. Some of them have ducks. Some of them have chickens. And so it's just a matter of processing and bringing it through. Because we are USDA, there have to be certain standards met before we can bring in certain meats. So that's why I'm not going to undertake processing the meat, but taking their meat or whatever farmer we work with to our processing plant where it is, or whether it's even a mobile slaughterhouse, that as long as they're USDA stamped and they can process it, then we can work with a farmer, whether it's processing their meat further for them to trim it, or if we partner with them and they need some place to store their co-products for their farmer market shows, or just having the capacity to probably produce more, whatever meat or protein that they're producing, whether it's cattle, whether it's duck, whether it's lamb. That's one of the things that's one of the reasons I knew this building would fit for us, is because the floor plan will allow me to have chilling storage for them. Mount Airy Meat Locker, who's now another company, they don't particularly allow that no more than 2 weeks. So I've met several farmers, not necessarily in Carroll, but in Howard County, as far as even Western Howard County, where they have a hard time in the fall time with their cattle and slaughtering because of the fairs in the area. So they have to get their meat in at a certain time for it to meet slaughter. They have to have it out and then be ready for the fair in the fall. So that's the way I plan on working with them and doing that as well.
Any other questions for Aquilita?
Did I answer your
Abel?
question, Tina?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
And we have a question from Chris Abel from Carroll Technology and Innovation Council.
Hello, what, Chris?
Chris, yeah, how you doing, Aquilita?
All right, okay.
Good. Have you connected with the Carroll County Economic Development at all?
Yeah, I met with I can't remember his name, but we
Jack?
met. What's his name?
Jack?
Is it Jack Lyburn by any chance?
No, it's not Jack.
Okay.
I think it was Darian.
Okay.
I think it was him. But I work with Brandon Mason in Howard County. So he's been with me the longest. And as like what I mentioned earlier, I meet people and we gravitate. So I don't drop people because I go somewhere else. If you will walk with me, then we continue to walk together. So Brandon's been with me since 2014. The agriculture lady that I work with, Mrs. Johnson, she's been with me since 14. So she's the one who helps me in sourcing cattle, and she's the one who introduced me to a lot of farmers in Maryland, as far as going from Maryland, and then she has other farmers up in PA as well. So usually when I meet someone, unless they are appalled of what I'm doing, we tend to continue to walk together. Even as far as people I've met in the USDA sector, we still talk and still walk together with this process.
So I ask because there's a monthly agribusiness breakfast that's put on by CCED here in Carroll County, and it gets together between 20 and 40 farmers from the area. So I'd be curious if you're interested in connecting with them.
I do get that email. What I
Okay.
mentioned to Graham was because I'm on the newsletter for Carroll County Business. So it gives me a monthly of what's going on in Carroll County, whether it's a breakfast, whether it's a technology show, innovation or something. what I was explaining to Graham earlier was I'm in what's going on with COVID. When you buy a vehicle now, you have to wait for it to be built out. So I haven't gotten delivery of my vehicle yet.
Well, we actually have another gentleman who just walked in who's recently purchased a food truck, or at least that's the way he thought he was getting himself into. Billy, do you have any questions? So Aquilita, I know you didn't hear the beginning, but she started off with as a food truck business, smoking meats.
Oh, really?
And now it's more of a large operation. I don't know if you have any questions about.
Getting started on
We,
this.
we bought I guess a tailgate trailer, and we thought it was a food trailer, and they said that I can't use it as a food trailer per se, but I can do special events and use it to do like cookouts and stuff like that.
Is it because of the length of the truck?
It's not a truck; it's just a trailer, but it's not built out to be a regular food trailer. But I didn't know that. I thought I could get a trailer and sell food out of it, but it's more like a tailgate. Yeah, well, I know now.
We should have met before you did that. But
I kind of already bought it and it's just sitting there. But they said that I can use it for special events, something like that.
Uh-oh.
so that's me. That's me.
That's you.
Me.
All right.
We still hear you.
Did you?
There you
There
are.
she is.
I had to cut my strain off to do this with the gentleman who bought the trailer. I didn't want him to see me do this.
I'm gonna utilize it though, definitely.
So
Well,
tell us-
that's a great thing that how you that's a great way how you flipped it and said, okay, well, we'll do it this way. So at least that's a good comeback.
Oh yeah, I always gotta find a way.
Any other questions for Aquilita? Anyone on Facebook? No Facebook. Okay.
What is there anything, what can we? do
Yeah,
for her?
so we always end with what can we do, Aquilita, to help you? We obviously want to see you build this facility out here. What can we do to help make that a reality?
I expect to see everyone's face I've seen here today somewhere along the trail with me, where this come out and you drink a cup of tea or coffee and we just look at the cattle or something like that and go from there. I'm a big stickler on family. I know that we all have our own careers and things that we're working on, but I think the most important thing that we need in this nation right now is for us to, those of us who we meet across our path, we just make sure we do what we can do to continue to be an asset in this country or wherever our footprint may be. So my overall goal is working with the farmers, which I'm more excited about working with farmers and cattle than being in a facility. So you won't see me too much in that facility. The other thing that I like is to possibly work with someone who's very, very passionate about cattle and working with me where I can be out at a farm. he or she can be in the building. So that's what I plan on doing in the county is being as familiar as I can. Not so much as far as from a business point of view, but just being a familiar face around the area and working with individuals and also meat. I can't tell you enough how much I am very much a stickler when it comes to meat. Meat is the most important thing on the table. And I respect everyone who's vegan or who doesn't eat cattle. I will tell you this, when I met the lady who's in agriculture for Carroll County, she's a vegan.
Oh, no.
And so
For Carol?
your Carroll County agricultural lady, she's vegan.
It's big on
And I
the-
was like, how are you working in ag? And she said, and I don't know if we just sort of breezed away because of the COVID or whatever, but we haven't too much anymore. But she says, oh, this is a great agriculture, beep, beep, beep. And before I even met with her, the first thing everybody told me was she's vegan. That's like, okay, she's gonna walk with me, but I may come out to my farm and I got a sign out there saying something about animal abuse or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, hopefully she can remain impartial. I'm sure she's a professional and can remain impartial, even though she doesn't eat meat herself.
We'll forgive her.
We'll forgive her, right?
had mentioned Longhorn cattle. There is Longhorn. There are Longhorn cattle in Carroll County up 97. There's a farm that's got some Longhorn.
Your screen went out, Graham. All I see is your
Oh.
logo.
Uh-oh. Did you hear the question though?
I did. Oh, this is a way better view.
That's a different view. Oh, well, thank you. It looks like our Mevo has disconnected. So that's our internet camera. So
the
yeah, it says
lights
it's
got
dying.
on and off.
Thankfully, this does not interrupt our Facebook Live. Just a different view now. The question was, are you aware of the Longhorn Cattle Ranch up here in Westminster in Carroll County?
No. The lady that I work with, we didn't go that far for Longhorn. The cattle I plan on working with is lowline cattle. It's a very smaller breed. The reason I plan on working with that cattle is because it doesn't take a lot for it to go from weaning to calving to slaughter. And you still get decent sized cuts of meat for consumer to consume. It's also the breed that I'm more leaning toward because our packaging for our meat is going to be for convenient consumer purposes. So whereas you would go in the store and buy a pound of brisket, we would package it where you can purchase it in smaller portions, leading up to whatever you want as far as a pound or 3 pounds. So it gives us a quicker turnaround on slaughter from birthing, weaning to slaughter versus with Angus, the chemical enhancement you have to help with that cattle to get from weaning to calving to slaughter. It's not as long with low line cattle. Not to mention it's a great cut of meat.
So I'm thinking that I know it makes sense to start at the county level with economic development and agriculture and work your way down with those connections. But if you haven't reached out yourself to the 4-H and the FFA of Carroll County, I highly encourage you to do that because the 4-H fair that occurs here every July, August has been going on for over 100 years. And they got a community going. They know what's going on in the county. So sometimes it's who you meet. And I highly encourage you, if you haven't talked to anybody in those circles in Carroll County, to do that, to reach out.
Okay, would you be a person I would meet first and then we would work that way? Or do you have a person for me? Or would I locate that through the Economic Development Office? I'm familiar with the one in other counties as far as Montgomery and Howard, but not Carroll.
Right. Now, having grown up here, I have friends who have, they show in it every year because they have cattle. So I can make sure that you get connected to the right person.
Yeah, we'll get the
4-H
information from Tina and we'll share it with you.
The 4-H, I'm familiar with it because that's where a lot of the low lines sometimes end up being shown in those particular events because they're more smaller than the big Herefords or Angus. So that's a particular cattle breed that you would see at that type of event.
Any other final questions?
No.
All right, let's give a round of applause for Aquilita.
I'm very photogenic, so I remember everyone. That's Jennifer in the back with her hands up, right? Tina.
No.
That was Tina.
Try.
That's Tina.
Tina, yes, yeah.
And Jennifer, I didn't meet her, did I?
No,
Yeah.
not yet. No,
She's not here.
Jennifer, I introduced you to Jennifer via email. She's not here right now.
And that's Chris with the black the jersey.
That's right, you got it.
And the guy next to him is the one, I don't know his name, but I know when I see him, he's the gentleman who bought a trailer, not a food truck.
That's right. That's Billy Live.
Okay, Billy.
All right, well, thank you. Well, Aquilita, what we're going to do now is we're going to sort of open it up to like a community discussion. You're welcome to stay, but I know you're a busy woman, so if you need to get going, feel free to sign off. But otherwise, we're just going to keep talking, and we're going to try to fix our camera issue in the meantime.
Thank
Well,
you.
I'm okay hanging out for a second.
All right, well, that's
Thank you.
great. Thank you very much. All right, let me change the view here. And anybody here have a community update that they want to share? If we can maybe get the camera back online. Billy, I know I just saw your announcement about the the dance being called off, and I hadn't heard about what happened to
Yeah.
someone died. I'm really
Yeah.
sorry to hear that.
I'll tell you about it.
Okay, all right, yeah. So we can get this started. Anybody have any updates? Update about the golf event? No?
At this point, if you're in, you're in.
You're in, All right, let's see if I can get this camera back up.
Golf rain or shine.
So let's.
There we are.
Turn into a whole last Saturday event, so. It's supposed to be nice, it's supposed to be nice Friday.
Just positive vibes.
It's all about
Positive vibes.
Oh, that's positive.
Bring the positive vibes.
All right, we are back with our main camera here. We just wrapped up with Aqualita Brown at A&M Smoked Meats. Updates from the community. I know Magic, I mean, we had a successful Capture the Flag event.
Yes, we had close to 300 participants for that virtual event this time around. So that was nice. It was sort of a US versus Estonia kind of thing, because Westminster is a sister city to one of the cities in Estonia. So they compete in our competitions every year. Oh, don't do that. I didn't want to be on camera. So it was a great competition. It was like the top 4 or 5 teams. UMGC was battling it out with some of the Estonian teams. So it was good. We didn't know who the winner was going to be up until like the last couple of minutes of the competition, which is great.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, because usually, 1 or 2 teams sort of like distance themselves and they pretty much stay that way the entire competition. So really you're kind of fighting for like 3rd place or 4th place. But this time around, we weren't sure who was going to win. So it was pretty
That
nice.
sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah. So that was fun. We have some workshops coming up if you want to pass it around. We have a senior workshop coming up near the end of May. And that's for seniors 55 plus. Gosh, I'm a senior now. But it's basically an online safety class for seniors. Help them like securing their email, understanding phishing emails, what spam is.
Right, and to know when
How
like,
to not give your information to people online, that
right,
kind of
when a
stuff.
guy from India calls you and says he's with Norton Antivirus and wants to help you, like,
Right.
not to
Yeah, no.
take that call.
So, we have found and statistics have shown out that most of your senior population are the prospect for a lot of these scammers. So we just want, that population to see, what they can do to protect themselves.
Yeah.
So that's at the end.
That's
of
all
May.
free too.
And these are all free.
And then you have the Mike Sheila cybersecurity.
Yes, and then we have cybersecurity for small businesses. So if you have a small business, we have some workshops pertaining to that to help you secure your data and your digital footprint online. What you can do as a small business that, inexpensive ways to help secure yourself, because not everybody can spend thousands of dollars on, cyber insurance or, having high paid consultants come in to tell you what you're doing with your data. So we hope that this helps some of the small businesses at least better protect, so.
And we have, we're planning our Good Game Festival for November 4th, 5th, and 6th at the Best Westerns. We're moving it from the mall to the Best Western and starting to, just gather together any local partners that want to get involved, have a table. I was able to connect actually with Laughing Coffin Esports Arena in Tawny Town last night at the Chambers, what do you call it, the PM Connections.
Oh, good.
So I had a great talk with them. They sound excited about getting involved too. And I got to go see their facility out there and meet some of the kids that are actually like, over there gaming on a regular basis.
Nice.
So,
And then there's, part of the good game is we'll be presenting, or we'll have a booth at the Big Awesome Con in DC, June 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So
Comic-Con?
Comic-Con? Yep.
It's like it.
It's like a Comic-Con. It's called Awesome Con. It's in DC. It's a big thing every year. So we'll be there getting our name out and promoting our small little festival up here in November. So that ought to be fun.
And then this weekend is the start of the farmers markets here in Carroll County. Saturday starts the downtown Westminster Farmers Market, where some of the farm to table farmers actually, set up their tents and vend their food and their wares. So we'll be a part of that Saturday morning here in downtown Westminster from 8 to noon. And then on Sunday, the downtown Sykesville Farmers Market starts from 9 to 1. So we're excited about the farmers market season starting.
So you're gonna be over at the parking lot.
Yeah, we'll be here at the Conway Lot downtown in Westminster. So we're excited about that.
Cool.
Yeah.
And the chamber's doing a ribbon cutting for that too, I guess.
The Chamber of Commerce is coming out for the ribbon cutting for the downtown Westminster Farmers Market. Grateful for that.
Nice.
Infinite Love Project has started a nonprofit through the Community Foundation of Carroll County called Action for Kindness. We're looking to get more involved in the community from the aspect of helping to give kids a tactile activity as they learn to understand about anti-bullying and empathy and kindness. And we thought that we've been told that it would be a good mechanism to go through the nonprofit avenue to do that. We have partnered with the Arts Council and are currently teaching a 6-session workshop, Community of Kindness workshop for kids 6 to 12 years old. And it's all about tactile art and kindness and we're excited about that. It's our first time teaching. Of course, we're certified yoga teachers, so integrating that into an art project for this age level. It's a fun experiment on how can we help positively impact the community.
Nice.
And we're excited that it appears that that's going to build into something that the nonprofit can then take on the road, so to speak. We're grateful for that opportunity. We are looking for assistance in getting out the word on putting together paint events. And so any information that you might have, any connections that you might have on reaching, not only the grade schoolers, but then anybody in any part of the community that is, kind of needs some help and some relief if they're in a fight or flight scenario, and they need that alternate perspective to just kind of help them navigate through their days. We're there.
And you're accepting donations now through
Yes,
your
we are.
website? Oh, I see, the Community Foundation.
Community Foundation of Carroll County.
Nice.
Excellent.
Now, is this your nonprofit, Tina?
Yes, it is.
Okay, because I read about it last night. So I wanted to talk to you about something when you have time. It's a extension of something I want to do with us at A&M. So I paid particular attention to your nonprofit when it showed it on the 1 Million Cup on Facebook. So I like to talk to you when you have time.
Happy to do that. I'll get you contact info.
Yeah, Aquilina, if you've noticed any signs on poles around DC or Maryland or Howard County that say "Be Kind," like these painted signs that say "Be Kind," that is Tina and her partner have single-handedly, so to speak, excuse me, painted all those signs and posted them all throughout Maryland. Actually, they're being shipped all throughout the world now and posted everywhere, but that's their nonprofit that has done that.
Okay. Are you solely focusing on 6 to 12-year-olds for your age group?
No, anybody who needs that message, who needs that help.
Okay. We can talk when you get time. Graham's got my information, or I could give it to you and we can go from there.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, any other updates from the
I always
community?
got updates.
You
I was
do?
trying not to talk.
Oh, no,
Go
we'd
ahead,
love to hear
Billy.
you talk.
So
I'm gonna get a plug real quick.
I got a phone call yesterday from a company doing something called the Many Faces of Westminster. Has anybody heard of that? Well, ladies randomly called me and she was like, "Billy Live?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "You were chosen to be something for the Many Faces of Westminster." So I'm doing an interview for whatever they got going on.
Nice.
I guess they're trying to show that Westminster is more than what everybody thinks it is, and show like the different parts and different sides. And they're using us as, representatives, represent the minority side of Westminster and the music and all those kind of things. Then we're doing a fundraiser dance on Friday, May 27th. It's going to be at Project C Dance Studios. It got rescheduled because unfortunately one of our kid performers I guess he passed. He was only 5 years old, so he was at every single one of our events. So we decided to move it and do a fundraiser to donate the money back to his family. And then what else was it? Oh, I'm presenting next Tuesday at Bullocks for the Kiwanis Club. They reached out and they were very interested in hearing more about Find Your Purpose, and they want to know what kind of impact we have on the community and what we do and whatever. And yeah, I'm excited about that.
That's great.
And the cool thing is that one page thing I made, I'm just taking that and making copies of it because they said they don't have like a digital display, so I'm just gonna make copies of it and hand it out to everybody. So I'm hoping we get some kind of I'm not sure how that whole thing works with the Kiwanis Club, but I'm guessing they're possible funders. So I'm hoping that they like what we got going on and something happens out of it.
Anybody here in Kiwanis? 15-year Rotary.
Yeah, for Rotary.
Yeah, but they've been getting around because they stopped in our office here on Saturday
I think
too.
they're starting to get back out, like do more in the community or whatever. But
That's great.
Nice.
Excellent. Any other updates? Any questions?
I don't think so.
Cody, you're graduating. That's an update.
So our intern's going to UMBC.
That's right.
Woo-hoo, got accepted, so he'll be off.
Congrats.
He and our other interns single-handedly got our whole ducky bot up and running, so yay.
Autonomous robot.
Yes,
yeah.
it actually goes around in a circle by itself now.
Was Magic looking for space to enlarge that whole
Yeah,
scenario?
and we applied for a grant with Kenora Break to
Okay.
take over the space behind the furniture store, which
Yeah.
would be 5,600 square feet to make a 20-foot by 40-foot ducky town with the autonomous robots.
Any word on that yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
We know we made it to the second round of consideration, where now like the people in Germany are actually looking at the proposal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There you go. Bravo.
Yeah.
That would be great. That would be Eric. That's our autonomous robotic innovation center.
Or Arik, tomato.
Arik, tomato. We haven't
Decide
decided how to pronounce
If
it
it's
yet,
Arik or
but,
Eric.
All right.
because you know, we do acronyms for everything.
Right.
All right, well, we'll wrap up. Tina, do you want to send us out?
Sure, absolutely. Well, I want to thank everybody for attending, both here in person and virtually. You can stay there. You can
No,
stay
no,
right there. Honestly, that way they can see
There
everybody.
you go.
Thank you, Glenn. So we are 1 million cups, and so we want to thank everybody who's here in person and virtually. We want to thank Jeannie Bird Baking Company for the scones and the go-go juice, the good coffee, and our host here at Magic, helping us with our space and who actually brought 1 million cups to Maryland. We're the only 1 million cups in the Maryland area at this time. And we're proud to be a conduit for businesses who are looking to figure out how to get to the next level, even if it's just an idea, or if it's something you're 3 years in and you're trying to get to wherever you're trying to be. We're an ecosystem to help you figure it out. We're here to help you. So sometimes we have one presenter, sometimes we have two. And next time it could be you. If you go to 1 million cups, the number 1millioncups.com/Westminster, click apply to present. It only takes a couple of sentences and we'll walk you through it. We'll help you out. If you don't have a deck, didn't even know what a deck is, we'll help you with that. It's getting the word out so then you can tap into this ecosystem that's going to help you hopefully get to where you want to go in a fun way. So until next time, have a great week.
Thanks, Tina.